What up, headbangers? How you doing? I'm Robb, and welcome to the Greasiest of all time. Today we're chilling with Hounds out of the UK. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, we're all right, thank you. How are you?
Good. Why don't you introduce yourselves and let us know how you guys got together?
I'm Ash. I am the lead vocalist of Hounds.
I'm Ben. I'm the bass player. Play the 4 strings.
I'm Dave. Play guitar.
Yeah, I'm Josh. I'm drums.
And I'm Jack, and I just recently joined a band.
What do you play?
I play guitar as well.
Nice. You guys, you recently released Beast. How was that experience?
Yeah, it was really good.
The remastered version was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, we originally released it back in November. We were releasing it independently, and at the time of that release, Kingside Records came to us and basically offered us to join their label. So we were kind of like, wow, we couldn't really delay the release of the song because it was already at the point where we couldn't pull it. So we went ahead and released it anyway, but we did say to them that eventually what we would do is that we would bring a remastered version to the label so that it could be a re-release. So yeah, the reception that we had originally when it was released was incredible. And then when the remaster came out, it got even much more it kind of back the excitement around that in itself was, we didn't expect it to be so popular so quickly. And obviously, we had released Snakes as well, which was our second single. So it kind of our fans got a re-release of Beast and another single almost within a couple of weeks of each other.
Right. That's awesome. So you guys re-released the mastered version under Kingside.
Yeah, we did. Nice. Yeah.
So how is Kingside? How do you guys like it?
They're great guys.
Yeah,
it's bad.
Concrete Lane.
Communication between them has been absolutely amazing. They're always messaging us, aren't they? See how we're doing.
Yeah, we couldn't have asked for a better label to join, really. The
Gabe's
support.
Yeah,
I mean, Gabe, who owns the label, he is supported us so much as a band. He really he pushes us as a band, and he but also he believes in what we're doing as a band as well, and you can see that his passion for music and his passion for what we do is there. You can see it, and we can't fault. And he asks for nothing in return other than the fact that we just do what we do best and put as much effort to it as we can,
Yeah, he's definitely a wicked boss and a wicked label owner.
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
he's a solid dude, down to earth. And I've interviewed, I think you guys are the 5th band now from the label between the two, AMG and Kingside, and bands on this label are fucking incredible. You know what I mean? Every single one's got its own taste and its own flavor, but they're all so epically unique. And he's got a good way of finding bands and helping them out of out of his heart. You know what I mean? He genuinely believes in it, which is we need more of that. That's what I think we need definitely more of, is more gigs.
I totally agree with you. I think that the music industry lacks people like him, and it's not about the money. It's about the love of music, and the industry needs more of that.
How is the local scene where you guys are?
Quiet.
Very
oh yeah, I mean pre-COVID.
Yeah,
it wasn't. Yeah,
it's a lot of shit.
It's weird. So there's not a lot of massive venues and everything like that on the Isle of Wight sort of thing. So we're more we'll gig on the island or something, and then we'll probably go Southampton, Portsmouth, which is on the south coast. So it's a little boat journey. Really just more gig over there sort of thing. But it's up and coming sort of thing.
There's not really much of a metal scene, right?
Nah, but it's on the south coast though.
Yeah, fair enough.
Go to the south coast for exits because the scene's more bigger in the south, but there's other places like the Midlands that are quite big for the metal scene as well.
Yeah, the further north you go of the UK, you'll find that metal is almost like the dominant style of music.
Yeah, I was going to say our guitar player's from Nottingham, and he's actually there right now. And, and he apparently he loves the metal scene. So.
Well, they said at one point that Nottingham was the home of like heavy metal. Like that was like the capital of heavy metal was Nottingham.
Yeah, he's definitely lucky because I mean the culture embraces metal more in UK and Europe, I find, than it does in where we are in Canada, for example. Metal is kind of like feared almost, you know, like they hear heavy instrumentals and they're like pulling out their crosses and they're scared shitless. It's pretty entertaining.
Yeah. Well, you know, metal will always be, I think, the almost the black sheep of the family, regardless like of where you are in the world. There's always going to be that sort of it's almost like it carries a stigma with it for some reason. Sorry, mate.
That's the part of the appeal as well.
But that's the part of the appeal is the fact that it's different. It's in your face. It's aggressive. It's, you know, it's not mainstream, and I think that's what a lot of people it does appeal to.
Yeah, I totally agree.
You know, and I think, to be fair, at the moment, I think that the UK and Europe are punching out some amazing bands at the moment in metal. And it seems to be like there was, you know, I think it goes in cycles. Like 1 minute America is like pumping out loads of amazing bands, and then now it seems to be the UK and Europe are pumping out the bands, you know. But what's interesting for us and what we found as a band is that despite that we've come from the UK, you would expect that the UK would be our first fan base that we would captivate.
Never works like that.
No. And what we didn't expect, and what we didn't expect,
Europe or Australia.
No, the US.
No? Oh, really?
The USA, which we never expected. Like, it seems to be that our one of our biggest strongholds is in the US and a little bit of Canada as well. Like, we're slowly starting to creep into Canada, but I think that's because of our manager, because he's obviously from Canada. So
shout out to Eric.
Yeah, Eric. Yeah, absolutely. Who again has been like he works so hard. You know, he is just like constantly on it, and but yeah, America, then sort of I guess Europe and the UK are sort of like following behind America, but like most of our streams, most of our like people that grab on it's all in America. We never expected that.
Yeah, no, and that's a cool thing because that means then you can come tour anytime. You know what I mean? You have your fan base there.
Absolutely.
I find that happens too. I find most of the time where bands are from is the last place they actually get picked up from. Like the biggest, where they become less. Like, because I know that our fan base isn't in Canada; it's in the States and actually in like Sweden and a lot in the UK. So it's like, it's weird. It's a weird concept how music. You think it would be your local area, but in reality, it's not.
Yeah, it's just weird.
I think it's like it shows the beauty of the internet, but it also kind of shows the downfall of the internet because now people aren't really looking towards their local scenes. They're kind of just always branching out towards what's out there instead. And I think that that kind of killed things. Yeah. But it also gave us like a wicked exposure that we can, like, for example, your guys' biggest fan base is in the States. So it's a total double-edged sword dealing with social media and the music industry. It's like a total pain in the ass.
Yeah, I know, absolutely. But I think that and I'm sure like Josh and everyone will agree that the pandemic, despite its inconvenience in the sense that we can't play a live show, it's actually served us quite well as well, because we've been able to do things and branch to places that we probably necessarily might not have been able to do had we still been like out on the road playing like or doing shows. So I think in some way it's benefited us, you know.
It's been good as well to connect with the fans as well, you know, like it's given us that time to actually like get more involved sort of thing. You know, we've had like those Instagram lives, we've had bake-offs and, you know, all that sort of stuff, you know, just kind of getting, you know, like familiar with everyone. So like, you know, because we're just average guys, you know, just that old cliche sort of thing. We're just average guys, you know, that just have a passion for what we do, you know what I mean? So, but no, it's been good for us. So I think probably it's been a blessing in disguise, this pandemic.
I'm 100%. And I think it's definitely been, I honestly, the more and more I think about it, I think it's been the best thing for the music industry, other than the fact that it completely stopped us, because it gave us a year and a bit to focus on our craft.
Yeah.
It really pushed which bands meant and loved to do it for their art, and it stopped the bands that did it for the show. So
Yeah,
it kind of it killed that flood. And now, like, for example, I think if we had continued playing, we wouldn't have been able to work on it as hard as we did to get signed. You know what I mean? Like, I think that everything was a blessing, and I think that I think COVID's going to be a good thing now that it's slowly coming to an end, hopefully, with shows opening up, because now we will have our time to shine. You know, like, major bands won't have the upper hand on the industry anymore, because they're going to be so far in debt that they're going to have to charge like $400, $500 a ticket just to try and make anything, or they're going to have to drop their prices and start back down at the lowest. So it's going to be interesting to see how everything changes in the next 6 months.
It certainly changes the game, and it certainly opens the floor up for the up and coming bands like us and like yourselves and like all the others on, especially on Kingside in AMG.
Yeah,
I think it certainly does open the floor up for us massively,
for everyone.
Because, and there's not so much that barrier between the up and coming bands and the higher profile bands, and I do believe that the higher profile bands will probably maybe suffer a little bit more than what we will. However, as we're all aware at the moment, and as you may have seen on our but there is the dilemma of who's going to like put these shows on with the bands. You know, there's a massive because the stage hands and stuff haven't had the help that everyone else has had. So that's the next thing. It's all very well, yes, we can't wait to do those shows, but they've got to come back to work in order for us to be able to do them.
The music industry dying isn't just the bands losing the ability to perform. It's
everyone.
Entire industry, meaning you got pyrotechnics, lights, sound guys, stage crews, drivers, everything. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's people don't realize what it's like. The industry, they just see bands playing, rocking on stage, looking like rock stars, but they don't realize that like you're getting paid $100. You know what I mean? Like they don't realize how little we actually get out of how much we put in. And that's why I think we need more people like Gabe, because Gabe sees that. You know what I mean? And I love that. And there are more people like that, like in the groups on Facebook, like Dan Lowy, who he completely helps everybody. I think he's shared over 650,000 page invites in the past 5 years for bands. Like,
wow,
there's people in our community that are more dedicated to it than I think the industry's top executives are. You know, and we do it ourselves. We always have, and I think that's a beautiful thing. And that's another thing that we've got out of COVID is the independence, because now the industry has changed where we can record ourselves, we can market ourselves and network ourselves. So it's become a really cool time for bands, especially emerging bands.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you. Like we've had to adapt, and because everything isn't handed to us on a plate, and because we have to work probably a little bit harder for it. That we've had to learn how to do things that we've never had to do before. So I guess that puts us at an advantage as well.
We're definitely easy to adapt. You know what I mean? We're a special breed.
yeah, we are.
Yeah.
And you know, and then the fact that you've got a label that sees that and will push that, and that, like, yes, we're a signed band, but we've still got full artistic control. We're not being told what we can and can't do.
And that's a beautiful thing.
We've still got
that's the thing about Gabe and everything. It's letting us do what we've got to do, you know what I mean?
In my eyes, he's creating the new industry.
Freedom sort of thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like he sees he's creating what the model should be. And I think that I think it's going to blow up, because I mean, when we signed, there was 26 bands, and now I think there's like another 4 in the past 2 weeks. And it's like, and the bands he's signing, he's not just signing bands, you know, he's signing talented bands that are, these big labels are going to be hungry, you know, and they're going to be going to Gabe once they realize how many fucking bands he's got that are so talented and how hard they work.
But do you know what
he cares about? He cares about how hard you work. Go ahead.
those big labels have got a rude awakening coming, like they have, like in all aspects of they're going to get some massive shock to the system.
Yeah.
And whilst we respect those big labels, in turn, should any of them ever approach any bands like us or like you or anyone that's emerging, I think what you'll find is we'll all say we'll stay where we are. Thanks.
Exactly. Yep. I think that's like, I think that's collectively agreed. Yeah. Then even if we were,
I would rather become a successful band on a label like Gabe's than be on a label where they don't give a fuck about you.
100%. Yeah.
As long as they're getting them, they don't care, sort of thing. You know, we want someone who's got the same taste for it, you know, and passion for it as we do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did it for that anyway. It's just
Exactly. It was just purely like the music. There was no, you know, never crossed our mind actually like what the perks of it could be. It was just like, this is what we do.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Yeah. No, it's badass. He's a really good guy. The structure is fucking incredible, and I think he's definitely going to be. There's a handful of people like I said, in the community that are making a change, and they're all doing it in their own way. And I think that this underground community is going to fucking blow up, and the whole world's not going to be ready for it. And it's just going to be like that old industry is just going to crumble because they're not going to be able to compete with the new structure.
No.
It's going to be great to see, isn't it?
Yeah. We're looking forward to seeing that happen.
Yeah, right. Like, because I think every band does.
In a funny sort of way, you know?
Yeah, I think we need a change. We need a revolution.
There needs to be a change. There does need to be a change. And we're now part of a campaign here in the UK, which is like the UK Metal Merger, which is to help raise money for the stagehands that are out of work. And whilst it's coming out of the UK, what we've said to our fan base and what we've said to everyone so far about our involvement up until this point, there is something else to come tomorrow. But up until this point, whilst it's coming out of the UK, most of the road crews that tour with the international bands all come from the UK.
Yeah.
The majority of the crews do.
Yeah.
So it has a knock-on effect. It will have a knock-on effect to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
If they don't come back to work. And on Friday tomorrow, there's going to be an interesting debate with some music heads of music within the metal market from the record labels and from to basically there's the stagehand they're going to thrash it out with them to say like what the hell is going on, you know?
Yeah.
And we need help.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a revolution. There is something happening that will like change how it all works completely.
Yeah, I'm stoked.
And I'm glad we're fucking part of that, man.
Yeah.
It's a cool thing to be a part of because
it's a privilege.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of people who seen what needed to be done but were scared to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like almost to be just for their own like reputation to be ruined for trying to do something new almost. And we need change. Change has always been good, or else music would still be stuck in such a weird phase like Elvis. We'd be stuck with just Elvis music. We wouldn't have the metal we make. You know what I mean? Like change is needed in every aspect of life. So I think that we're on a good point. And I think it's like 6 months to a year. It's going to be a beautiful thing.
We'll see. We'll wait and see. Fingers crossed, eh?
Right. Is there anything in the industry, if there was anything in the industry?
Dave just made a good point. Dave just made a really good point.
What was
I think Dave said it.
We sort of joined in at a good time then, didn't we?
Yeah. I mean, and it's not like we just joined in. Like, I'm sure you guys have been doing this for over 10, 15 years. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That's the thing is we've been, exactly. Right. Like, that's what I mean. Like, you've been doing this individually for how long? Like, it's earned. It's not just given. Like, it's well earned. Yeah. And that's what I think is the best feeling about it, is that they see that, like how hard you work, and they appreciate it. Yeah. And I think the fans see that too, you know, because
our fans have been like
they're awesome. They're an awesome bunch.
Incredible.
Right.
We've managed to build up this really fiercely loyal fan base.
Yeah.
And like their support has been
overwhelming.
Yeah, it's been incredible. Like through the whole, like just through this whole last sort of 12 months, really.
Mm-hmm.
They've really been supportive, whether that be streaming the music, buying our merch, sending us messages, comments, interacting with us. We started doing Instagram lives so we could like meet with them on a personal level as well, not just us talking about ourselves. We've then opened it up to the fans to like join us in a live so we can talk to them and find out a little bit about them, and it's been a really, really good experience. And
it turns out that a lot of our fans are actually incredibly interesting people.
Yeah,
they've got a lot of their own stuff going on, and that they're quite happy to share with us. Again, on our Instagram lives, we ask them what's going on. They tell us where they work, what they like to do in their pastimes, their music inspirations, their who inspires them, what albums they love. It's amazing. It's great to actually, it's over Instagram Live. I mean, it'd be even better to meet them in person as and when, but which we really hope to do.
Well, that's
over Live. It's brilliant to actually talk to put a face to a fan. Is absolutely it's brilliant.
Yeah, loyalty is most important these days when it comes to live chat with other people, because they start to like you a bit more for that.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel loyalty is important. It's just a comment that I could make.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say is I had an epiphany the other day that social media, like if you think of it right now with COVID, we just performed a killer set. Our stage gear is off. You know what I mean? The other band's about to start. Do we go sit at our table and not do anything, or do we go mingle with the crowd? You go and mingle with the crowd, and that's what our social media is right now. That is our crowd. We have to embrace them, or else why the fuck would they come back?
Yeah, absolutely. And everything that they've done, to support us as a band, we can't thank them enough. And I'm pleased that we can come out of the pandemic going back to some sort of normality, to know that we may have made a difference to them, not only through music, but also on a personal level as well. Mm-hmm. And that will always continue with us, even though, things will get busier for us as a band. We will still maintain something that we started, because it's absolutely important that we do that.
Yeah, it's become personal. It's become connection. I think we might have lost him. Ah, there we go. Your mic is muted, though.
There we go.
There we go. No,
that's weird. I don't know what happened there.
Sometimes the internet connection happens.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We make a point on our Instagram lives that we're never too busy to respond back. Yeah. Where we say, please message us on the fan page, message us on the band page, message our individual pages. We're never, ever, ever too busy to reply. Even if it's a, hey, how's it going? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we love replying.
Ultimately, authenticity is, if that's the right word to pronounce, is that how you pronounce authenticity? It's key at the end of the day. Authenticity is key, because that's how you gotta be with your fans.
Yeah, and we're like just transparent with them,
Yeah,
and I've said this, like, it doesn't take much for someone just to like thank someone for saying, hey, I really like your music. It takes 2 minutes, and it takes like just to say thank you to them. It's not a hard thing to do, and I wish there was other bands out there that would do that, because with the change that's coming in the industry, they're going to need their fans more than ever. So
exactly, yeah. Now, if there was anything in the industry you guys would change, what do you think it would be?
Oh,
that's a good question, actually.
Where do we start?
Where do we start? I think for me, and I think we can all answer this. I think for me, what I'd like to see change is the inequality within the industry between mainstream bands and the up and coming bands. Yeah, I would like to see there be more equal opportunities based on not how many followers you've got, not how many Facebook likes you've got, or how many YouTube subscribers you got, or what's your stream count, or what's this, or what's that. What it should be based on is shit. These guys, like, people are like just engaging with them should be enough. And we'll listen to the music and not write them off because they haven't got 10,000 followers on Facebook or on Instagram, you know? So I'd like to see there be a change where bands are actually acknowledged for what they're doing musically rather than how they appear as a brand.
Yeah, enough of the popularity contest.
Yeah, Ben?
Rather than their facade.
Yeah.
Rather than how they're coming across.
What would you like to change?
What would I like to change? I mean, you hear stories all the time, don't you, about well, that probably comes down to the labels being. I'm rubbish on the spot. I'm just trying to think of how to word it. Definitely. Sort of, I would change contracts, but in my own sort of, I know what I mean by that. I'm just trying to describe it. Sometimes
I think I know what you mean.
Again, it probably comes down to the record labels, but sometimes the contracts can be incredibly demanding and forcing artists to produce work that they're not necessarily happy with.
What's that? 30 Seconds to Mars thing, wasn't it? Jared O couldn't even play his own fucking music.
That's it.
On a piano.
Yeah.
And contracts stopped him doing that. And he was
Yeah.
song.
That's it. Little things like that. That's why I think contracts. You know, I throw on contracts that are too demanding, that are stopping artists from doing what they love instead of they're saying, right, this is what we want you to do, not instead of this is what, tell us what you want to do kind of thing. That's what I would change.
Though, isn't it? Like, like, I mean, like where we've got that musical freedom sort of thing, like, more bands, it should be like that, Comes down to you're not restricted. You're not like, well, you can do this and you can do that, or no, you're not allowed to do that. Sort of things like I say on our label and everything like that. It's just like go with it. You know what I mean? Just lay something down for us, sort of thing. You know what I mean? And just send it in. And that's it, really.
Freedom.
Yeah, we'll never be told what to do, and instead we just do what we want to do. That we do for them. Yeah, because it's all about authenticity, like I said.
Dave, what would you change?
I don't know, really. There's especially down here in the south sort of thing, like, unless you're like really famous, a lot of people don't really go and watch gigs anymore because they don't sort of put the time into it. So, like, sometimes we're playing gigs just to other bands and stuff. Yep. So I think I'd like to change like people's mentality towards it, like get them to go to smaller shows, watch smaller bands and stuff. I remember when it was like that when I was a kid.
Like 10, 15 years ago. It was like
the
that.
gig, it's live music sort of thing. Now it's kind of like, they're playing, I don't know who they are, so I'm not going to bother. Do you know what I mean? So, back then it was kind of like, I'm going to go to it. You know what I mean? I just want to go, sort of thing. The atmosphere, everything, you know what I mean? That's what makes it. It's purely the atmosphere, the crowd, and everything like that.
Yeah, and there's loads of bands.
Feet sticking on the floor and everything like that. You know what I mean? It's just those the little things.
Otherwise it kills the scene a bit because local bands do deserve a bit of recognition that way.
And authenticity.
Yeah, yeah, like I said, that's a big word.
Jack's word of the day is authenticity.
No, it's true. I definitely think that that's a big thing worldwide, though, is that lack of support of fans going to actual shows. Because, like, you'll have fans show up for your set and then fuck off for the other band. And it makes you look bad, right? So
we've all been there.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
We've been there. Yeah.
But what I think, and I think this ties in with the pandemic thing, is what will happen is because we've been deprived of a live show for such a long time. I think what we will find is that the smaller shows or the middle of the road shows people will just like pile into them because they'll flourish. Because we've been so deprived from it, and this is where I think that the larger bands, as respected they are, this is where they will struggle because they will charge $20 or $25 a ticket, okay, and people have been out of work, people have not had the money, they're not going to be able to afford that, or they could go down to their 200 cap venue and pay $5 and have the same experience and still have like the best like night ever with heavy bands or whatever. Dirty beer bands, you know, and I think that will happen.
I think so too.
I think it will happen.
I definitely think so too. I think that it's going to come back, and it's going to come back fierce.
It's going to come back with a vengeance.
We really hope so.
To say the least.
Yeah.
Is there anything you guys want to?
Gear it up for.
Yeah, right. Is there anything you guys want to say before we wrap up?
No, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having us, man.
No worries. We'll have you guys on anytime.
And like, thank you to all our fans and everyone for the like continued support of the band. We really appreciate it. Thank you to Gabe and Eric.
Gabe and Eric, definitely for sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
And the revolution is coming, fuckers. So get ready.
It is.
It's a revolution.
We're hungry. We're coming.
Jesus, man.
We're fucking coming.
In that under sea.
yeah.
In that under sea, it's like a baby when he takes over the ship. Welcome to the revolution. It's coming. It's going to happen, and we can't wait. And we'll all fucking be there to be part of that, man.
Come and have a beer with us.
Hell yeah.
Come and take a mock bit with us.
It'd be great to meet you all.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, it would be really cool to like obviously meet all the other artists on the labels and everything like that. Get together and like, you know, like have a set, no matter whether it's in the UK or it's in the US, Canada. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Anything like that. Literally, like just have like a pure like king side.
You guys got a door. You got a door open at my place. You guys are more than welcome. If you guys come to Canada, you're more than welcome to crash with us.
Oh, we're coming.
Yeah.
We're coming. As soon as we're allowed, we'll be there.
Yeah.
All right, boys. You guys stay safe, and I'll stay in contact with you.
Take care, brother.
And you take care, man.
Bye, brothers.
Bye. Be out.